Hey everyone, welcome again to another episode of Disability Landscape. I'm your host, Charlie Brose. With me again today, Paul Pranghofer.
Yep, good. Hello everybody, glad to be here again.
Now Paul, I realized something. You're leaving the country shortly for a little time, and while you're gone, I'm going to attempt to get your passport canceled.
Yes.
But tell our audience where you're going.
Okay, I'm going to be going to Slovakia in Eastern Europe. Just a little history real quick. One of the pastors at my church used to pitch for the Minnesota Twins back in the 1970s and has run a baseball camp in Slovakia for youth over the last 23 years. So this will be the 24th year of the camp. I was there 4 other times, twice in the late 1990s and twice in the early 2000s. So I'm going back for the first time in 21 years to volunteer at this camp, and I'll be working with kids from the age of about 7 through 16 years old. Most of the kids will not, none of the kids will have disabilities. And so here's going to be a guy with no arms and half a right leg trying to teach kids how to hold a bat and swing it and how to catch a baseball.
Now, how about a little name dropping? Who's the major league pitcher?
The gentleman is Tom Johnson. He was the closer for the Minnesota Twins from about 1975 through about 1980.
I may have seen some of his blown games.
Yes.
Sorry, Tom. So, Paul, you know him as well as I do. Our guest today is a recently graduate of Armstrong High School who we have had the pleasure of, I'd say correcting throughout his career as an adapted athlete.
Yes.
Let's welcome Darius Larson.
Thank you for having me on.
Darius, what we want to do today is we want to kind of use a most recent player to say what the program's been like.
Right.
And, we all agree, unfortunately, that there are difficulties with the current adapted sports program.
Absolutely.
And so, from your perspective, for you, what was the best experience or what you got out of being in a team sport like this?
Right. It's team bonding for me personally because as going into 7th grade, I felt kind of weird because I was trying to fit in my body. I was trying to feel a part of a class, and so I'm very thankful I got to meet Marcus Onson, the head coach of my Robins, and so it was just a pleasure because I was able to say, hey, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, meet with a team that's just like me because, just trying to fit into the high school groove and the middle school groove was tough because kids looking at me, I'm disabled, I don't really have anything, but once I really joined the team, I said, hey, we're the same because we have a disability and there's always it's the camaraderie that you can have there, and for me back in high school, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, is the learning to work with others. Right, absolutely. It's working with others with your disability, and so I think kids in high school and middle school, they want to back away from kids disabled, but once you join the team, they will work with you, they will make you feel a part of something.
And it's a part of being belonging to a group and a team, and you can share different experiences that way.
Absolutely.
Yep, I know exactly what you're saying. There was just a quick story, a young man a number of years ago who played for the Robins, and I knew his parents very, very well. He didn't get to play very much in the team. He was kind of like played defense in a wheelchair, and he might have gotten in for 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes during a game. And one day I asked his mom, because I knew how much they had to pay to do each sport, and his mother looked at me and said, "It's the best money I spend all year."
Right.
Because he's part of a team, he's part of that camaraderie.
Right, and like I will say again, in high school and middle school, you'll feel left out because you're disabled, and kids are going to back away because you are disabled. But if we can get more people to step out of their comfort zone, give more options to them, because it's a great option. Kids will like it, and parents have said to me, I love that you're with the team, and Yeah.
Well, now having gone to Armstrong in Plymouth, pretty much.
Right.
Where in was there other people with disabilities that you could work with or talk to during your time there?
I mean, for Armstrong, yes, there were people like case managers, but they can only do so much. That was school regarding. I've spoken to the athletic director, and he brought me into the team and what it was. But I haven't really spoken to any like the student, because like the student attendance for our games for kids like in a high school, they didn't really attend. But it was mostly case managers that knew about it, and some administration knew about it, but they kind of put that aside. So my biggest thing was trying to get flyers out to them, trying to talk with them, and because the biggest thing is what I've noticed is where most of my teammates found out from parents or friends, not from the school, and that's the biggest thing that I've noticed.
Right.
Well, and you were very fortunate to have Marcus as your coach. Marcus does a fantastic job of recruiting.
Absolutely.
Probably, I think he may be the best recruiter in the league.
Yeah.
And this has been brought to you by Marcus Onsom for president. No, Marcus is a huge proponent for the program. He heads up right now the MAAA league, so he's very involved, and we want to kind of speak to the fact that other programs within the league are having difficulty in getting new players, and so you want to kind of say, why aren't we out there?
Right. Yeah. Whether it's, I don't know, broadcasting, or whether it's broadcasting, whether it's fundraising, whether it's like having a meeting with the athletic directors and say, hey, I want to get you guys the information with flyers, with videos, and just trying to make sure kids are feeling a part of something. Because I'm sure a lot of schools have kids who are disabled, and sometimes parents don't know about the league. Right. Because administration can only do so much, but if they only can have sports, they can offer.
And there are roadblocks in that, because with some of the schools, or actually all the schools, they have privacy concerns.
Yeah.
And so you can't say, well, hey, you can find a disabled kid here, here, and here, but you're not allowed to talk to them.
Right. Right.
It's like, well, then it defeats the purpose.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to say, hey, I need a list of all the big beefy kids that I want to play defense on my football team. Right. You can just look down the hallway and find them.
Right.
Whereas, the disabled population in a lot of schools are hidden or aren't as prevalent, so they get passed over. Right.
And I feel like Marcus Onsom has done a great job, because he's actually at the school. He sees kids like Dave kids. He'll see like a 7th grader or 8th grader and say, hey, join the team. And that's the thing what a lot of coaches have done, is that they have to actually be in the building. They have to talk to kids. They have to recruit that way. And so I feel like if like guidance counselors or anybody in administration knows about the league and knows students who are disabled, just give them the opportunity, like, hey, or give them the option. I'd say it that best way.
And one of the problems that I see we face too are some of the individuals that are, I want to say, higher functioning disabled people. People who are able to walk, whatnot, that still have a disability, but it's not as prevalent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they aren't being reached about this opportunity to become involved.
Right. And it's, like I said, it's the administration or parents, or they may have something else going on. So we don't know what's going on, but if the school, from the principal to administration to supporting staff, can like reach out, feel supportive, and because I had many teachers come out and play my games, and make sure they can make me feel part of something, where teachers can step in and encourage me to join. And
well, and when you have teams like yours that are made up of multiple districts in schools, it becomes a little more of a challenge to get everybody to work together.
Right.
Yes. And so many of the teams at the high school, in the high school that are doing adaptive sports don't have enough disabled kids in a single school, where it does take multiple schools, and sometimes crossing school district lines to be able to form a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the biggest thing was also busing, you know,
Yeah.
busing from point A to point B, and then busing to the games, and you know, there's a lot of hoops that athletic directors have to jump through to get their kids to games, to sports. But then it's also just, so I'm thankful for athletic directors for what they do, but they just got to reach out to kids like us.
Right. And we also consider districts like Minneapolis and St. Paul, where there might be a poorer or less economically advantaged group that have the students available, but they just don't have the financial support to get them involved.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that becomes a very large stumbling block, because districts as large as Minneapolis or St. Paul schools should have no problem fielding a team. You know, in our day, and I'm going way back, we would have 20 people on a team.
Right.
Easily, yes.
Easily, and you know, everybody got the opportunity to play.
Right.
But now, you know, I see so many districts they can barely draw enough kids to actually field a team, and that's not that's unfortunate.
Right, and then that's what I say. Like, we need to create events. Like maybe we have a day of where the top of the high school league will visit some high schools and talk to coaches and like, hey, who wants to be a coach? Let's talk about it. Let's create events. Let's do Google Meets together, and let's talk about how to create a team and try to get assistant coaches. So it's just stepping out of the comfort zone of the league and taking time and actually maybe going to a school or going to a meeting a couple times a week and just saying, hey, here's how we're going to advance the league. And because if we are afraid to step out of our comfort zone, then what are we doing? So I think the league, if we can like step out and do activities with the schools and sponsors, and so just getting the word out there.
And also, having been on the board of directors for adaptive sports, I was on it for a number of years, and you were too, Charlie. One of the issues you run into is it's not really the state high school league's responsibility to be out there doing the recruiting.
No.
Right.
But we are, the league you played in is considered a conference, just like a lake conference or et cetera, and it's the conference is more, it's more the responsibility falls there. And I know in the past, Charlie and I both have offered to go out and speak at schools and stuff if they've shown interest. And we're willing to go anywhere and do it.
Right, and you know, it's just the willingness to do it, and the league will allow us to do that. And so it's also having coaches that will step out of their comfort zone and talk to schools. And like I said, I'm very willing to step out and talk to
And you know, we have 2 programs that are outside of the Twin Cities. One in Rochester and one in Brainerd. And in Brainerd, they only concentrate on one sport. They only show up for hockey. And then in Rochester, you know, it took them a while, but they did get involved in all 3 sports. Whereas I would think we should see growth in other communities throughout the state that have a disabled population that is being underserved.
Absolutely. I cannot say more, because I'm sure there's districts that were not covered in teams, and like we got to go out to them, because I'm sure there's tons and tons of kids who want to play, but then they see it and then they bypass it. We just need coaches.
Well, we know the kids are out there because the bowling program
is
has
huge.
Absolutely exploded. I mean, when it first started, I know that everybody made the state tournament. Now you have to qualify for the state tournament to bowl at the bowling state tournament. So we know the kids are out there.
Right.
There are teams from as far north as Moorhead. And you know, as far south as Austin. So they know that opportunity exists.
Right.
It's just being able to get them together in, some of the more rural areas to say,
Right.
hey, we belong, we want to belong, we want to have a team.
Yeah.
So, now that you're a graduate, and you want to talk about this to people, you want to bring it out, but what else lies ahead for Darius?
So I'm going to be planning community college at North Hennepin Community College. I'm going to take a business degree.
Okay.
On top of that, I would like to go after sports management. So I'm going to do some volunteering at Augsburg University with the football team. Super excited about that.
Okay.
So that's my 2-year plan for right now, and then maybe sports management and coaching potentially.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. If you get into that in coaching, it would be wonderful to see you come back and coach a team here.
Yeah. And like the biggest thing for sport, I'd like to get into football, but I'd love to come back and do the Robins, and and the biggest thing is I want to volunteer. I want to make my voice heard with volunteering. With
Well, you may not know this, as Paul's history goes back quite a few years. More than I can count these days. But besides, he was through high school when none of this existed.
Right.
So we were in the infancy of it, but Paul played on a team of graduates.
Yes.
And, he taught a lot of us high school players at the time how to perform, how to play. And from that, he was a coach for a few years of a team in St. Paul. So, he has seen every aspect of it.
Yes.
He's been a player or a coach,
Yes.
an official, and a board member.
Yes. Yep. Adaptive sports have been very close to my heart for many, many years. Many years.
Yeah, and that's what I've realized when I've grown up with the Robins is the aspects when I grow older, kids are going to look at me. So, and it's the teaching or it's the coaching style. I'll just tell you a quick story. When I was like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I used to yell at my teammates because I thought I was better at them playing the sport. But then as I grow into a senior and as a junior, I said, no, that's not a good coaching strategy because kids learn better if you don't scream at them. If you are calm and you are firm, you can't yell because then they'll shut down and not listen to you.
Gee, what coach can we think about that screams at his players?
Yeah.
We won't get into that right now because, we like avoiding civil suits.
Yes.
But, and you, at Robbinsdale, you had a great experience because you did have a coach that believed in the program.
Yeah.
And, he was even a part of it when he was a student.
Oh.
So to grow up into that, he understands it.
Yeah.
And so we all have, people that we can look up to
Right.
that have shaped what we know about this.
Right.
And, for Paul and I, it goes back to Ed Prohofsky.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
And Ed shaped adapted sports in this state.
Yes.
And he did it long before he got to the high school level. So we owe a lot to Ed for being where we are today.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever met the man, but he's...
I don't think I have, no.
Yeah, he's a...
Not only was he a big, he wanted the adaptive sports to flourish. He fought very hard for it to become part of the state high school league.
Yeah, for the first, for all of my high school career, we were never part of the high school league. We were just an independent program that played against 5 or 6 other teams in the district, in the cities. So to see it grow to what it's become, but then also see it transversely, dying off because of the lack of participation.
And you as a student and student athlete, because that's what you are, the opportunities that you have today. Shirley and I didn't have a lot of those opportunities when when we were your age. It was very, very limited.
Well, okay. Did your parents have any problem with you being involved?
No, because my coach came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to join a league?" My parents were very open. They were excited. I was
Okay.
because when Marcus didn't step in, or before I knew him, he didn't really, because he was the one that kind of pushed me towards the Robins. My parents had they had no opinion. They wanted me to join. They wanted me to have fun. But then on the other side of the spectrum, there's parents who are nervous that something's bad gonna happen. But the rules are set up for fair play, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yes.
if you could talk to a parent who is hesitant about letting their student get involved, what would you tell them?
I mean, I would tell them that this league is meant for, the biggest thing is safety, right? We're not going to, the rules are set up where if a ball is going to go over somebody's head, it's not going to kill them. It's not, there's rules where there's no running, so that there can't be any tripping for soccer. And for
Right.
like hockey, there's rules and that's guidelines if like what's considered running within, so it's not a league of, the rules are very tight. And
Okay.
the refs do follow the rules pretty well,
Well,
and
I do.
pretty well. So, like I said, you won't get a ball to the head. You might, but then there's going to be penalties after that. There's not going to be.
Right.
The rules are not loose and not free. We have certain rules for certain people, and then there's like certain modifications. If you're able to walk, you'll get a walker. If you're able to sit, and you need to sit, go ahead. But the rules are meant to make sure everybody's safe, whether you are walking, whether you have a limp, or whether you so it's very easy going. It's not.
And that's the one thing that I think a lot of parents don't understand, is that this league's set apart with players that are both ambulatory and wheelchair using.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a mix of both that are on the floor. And to make sure that the ambulatory players do not take over the game, there is a requirement for a minimum number of wheelchairs to be in
Right.
the game.
Yeah, right, because you need, I think, 2 for soccer at least for the defenseman. Hockey, I think it's 2 still. Then you need 2 wheelchairs. So the biggest thing is that what I've really liked about it is wheelchair players are included in the rules. For example, softball, you need to touch my wheelchair in order to be considered a dead ball.
Yep.
So the rules are designed so we as wheelchair people are not, like what you said, Charlie, it's not overtaken. We're the same level, we're a team, we're not taking advantage of another.
Right. And great pains have been made in fashioning the rules that try to make it level for everyone involved.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I agree with that.
If everybody followed them, now that would be even better.
There's for people like me and others, but then so it's the rules are set up for people who are standing, from walking to sitting. The rules are designed for fair play,
Okay.
fair competition.
Oh, yeah. I did.
I
Well, Darius, it's great to have you here because you do represent, the people that have been through the program, that know what it's like to be able to compete, in this type of atmosphere. What are you going to miss most about it?
That is a very tough question, from getting first recruited, and I was scared to play, but then once I started playing, it was just fun. I'm really going to miss the state tournament I can't say the word, atmosphere, because we're all trying to play for state champions. Because then what I like about it is when we're state champions, your name will be in the paper, and you'll get to take some history home. And so the biggest thing I'll miss is the state tournament, because we're working towards something. The seasons were long and tough, but once you get to the state tournament, that was make or break, you know, and that's what I miss is just the state tournament vibes and the feeling of that Friday night. Oh, first game done, couldn't sleep through all day on that Saturday morning. Could not sleep. I was super excited, and that's what I'm going to miss most likely.
That's cool. I mean, it's good to be able to have that experience.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm sure that you've learned lessons as you've matured and
Yeah,
played
yeah.
that you're going to be able to take
Yeah.
with you for the rest of your life.
Right,
As you
right.
go through your life.
Right, and you know, it's from like coaching kids. How do you talk with them, even if they're not listening to you? How do you approach talking to people? And then
Right.
I've learned to like communicate and like say, hey, I need help with this, or I need you to teach me this. And so it's willing to get on their level and make sure they're all included.
And to work with people with various disabilities, it's the challenge, or even I think rewarding part, is finding what they can do.
Right,
It's not about what they're unable to do,
right,
but what they can contribute to a team.
right.
And you had that challenge when you coached the kids
Oh,
in,
definitely.
in St. Paul.
Oh, definitely. I remember one young man, Pat Mead, and you
Yeah.
probably remember. Pat had an MD and walked, and he finally scored a goal in a game. And I thought his dad was going to go nuts. It was so much fun to see.
Right.
It was so rewarding.
Right, and it's for the. I also like that. I'm gonna miss that too because I have people like on my team that are some have different disabilities, and when they score, I'm happy for them because it's a rarity.
Because it's something that they get to experience.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Right.
it creates memories for them and for everyone around them.
Yes.
To say,
Absolutely.
hey, I was able to do this. I was
Absolutely.
able to be part of a team.
Absolutely.
So, well, time to about wrap it up here. Darius, great to have you.
Thank you
Yes.
for having
Um,
me so much.
We will talk offline about what kind of sports you're doing afterwards, but
Yes.
Yes.
because we got a place for you. And that's a quick plug for We Love to Play, an unsponsored sponsor. So, but Darius, great to
Yes,
have you
thank you.
here.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was fun to be one of the people that had to keep you in line, and I
Yes.
hope you actually learned from us as referees
Yes,
as
I did.
well.
Yes, cutting corners, if we call it. No, we all like to do that at times, but it's
Yes.
fun.
But Darius Larson, I'm Charlie Bros. You've been watching Disability Landscape. I want to thank my friend and wish him bon voyage, Paul
Yes.
Prangoffer.
Yes.
Again, I will be canceling your passport, so I'll be calling the State Department 10 minutes after you leave. So you'll be on the first flight back.
That means I won't get back in the country.
Yeah, well, there is that too. So, again, thanks for watching Disability Landscape. We'll check y'all later. Thank you.